Gotta warm that face up. Warm up those lungs. Ah! God, that was excessive and dramatic. Hello, my name is Jessica. Welcome to my channel where I post beauty and art related content here on YouTube and also Instagram. If you're into that sort of thing, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment for me. I would love to connect with you. Today, I am going to do a little review of the Wet n Wild Dewy Photo Focus foundation that I recently bought at my local Target. So I found this product just a few days ago. I was just at the drugstore getting allergy meds. But of course I had to swing through the beauty aisles, and I saw that this foundation was $5. And I really like Wet n Wild products. I haven't tried their foundation yet, but I have tried the Photo Focus concealer and really like it. So I thought, oh, I might as well give this foundation a try, and I really like dewy natural finishes, so that appealed to me a lot more than their original matte product. I'm going to read the product description from the Wet n Wild website to give you their official little blurb about this product. They say, the newest innovation to the cult favorite Photo Focus franchise, Dewy Foundation. A weightless, super nourishing foundation that delivers natural, all-day wear. Silky and creamy. Coverage is easily buildable from medium to full, and it transitions from day to night wear. Ideal for normal to dry skin types. This moisturizing formula blends seamlessly, blurs imperfections, and helps minimize the appearance of pores for a perfectly smooth, dewy finish. Available in 20 cruelty-free, gluten-free, talc-free, and vegan shades. It describes this formula as ultra lightweight and moisturizing, delivers buildable coverage and and it just says and a long lasting. Delivers buildable coverage and a long lasting. Hydrating glow. Maybe that's supposed to be the same bullet point. Anywho, that is the description. When I went to pick these up at Target, what I really liked is the way that the shade range is laid out. It is very clear. They have, let's see, how many shades are in here? 20 shades. I already read that, but I forgot. So there's 20 shades in here, and the way that they're laid out is easy to understand. They have the different shades like light, medium, dark. Wow. Genius description. Anyway, so they have all their different kinds of shades, and then they have them with all the different kinds of undertones. So they have a warm undertone, a neutral undertone, and a cool undertone. So I got 2 different shades, and I did that because it's often hard to find just the correct shade, especially now that we're transitioning to summer. I'm going to be getting a little bit more tan, so I wanted to have something for when I'm more pale and for when I'm more tan. So the lighter shade that I got is the shade Soft Ivory, and it is a light warm shade, so with a warm undertone. And I mostly have a warm undertone, but I think it has a little neutral leaningness. I mean, I didn't study makeup in school, so this description is not like fantastic, but I think also having a neutral based undertone can kind of help, because it's like, I feel like you're not as likely to go wrong. Probably not science, but anyway, I got a warm undertone in the lighter shade, and then I got a neutral undertone in a little bit of a deeper shade. It's called Buff Bisque, and it's a light medium shade with a neutral undertone. And I've used this product once so far, but it seems to be a pretty good match. I mix a little bit of these two together and matches me pretty well. I'm going to apply the foundation to both sides of my face, one side with a brush, the other with a sponge, and then I will give you some of my thoughts, and then we'll check back in at the end of the day to show you how it wore. It is, oh my goodness, it's already 4 o'clock while I'm applying this foundation. So I will probably be wearing this till, say, like 11. So about 7 hours. Not an amazing wear test, but okay. Decent to show you how it will wear. My skin type is like oily and dehydrated. Kind of. It used to be even oilier, so now that my skin has dried out a little as I've aged, it's a little hard for me to describe it. It's definitely like kind of combination, kind of dry, kind of oily. I will produce oil in my T-zone, but I will also be dehydrated in different spots, and I have flaky skin underneath the oil, so like especially around my mouth and around my nose and on my forehead, I'll have really flaky skin. So we'll see how this foundation looks on top of skin like that. I honestly like never apply foundation with a brush because it kind of kicks up all of those flakes that I mentioned that I have, but I'm gonna give it a shot today. I think that will be a good test of the foundation if it's able to sit well while being applied with a brush. So I'm gonna do my quick application and then give you my initial impressions, and then we'll be back with a more in-depth review. All right, one thing I forgot to mention is these foundations were $5 at Target, but on the website they're $6.50 a piece. I mean, they're still so incredibly affordable. They look nice in these glass containers. One thing I don't love is that they have a spatula on the inside instead of a pump. So when you lift up the lid, it just has a spatula dripping with foundation, so it makes it a little bit difficult to use, but hey, I'm not gonna complain for $5, that's for sure. I'm gonna mix a bit of this on my hand and begin the application process. One thing I should mention is it kind of smells like paint. So not the best scent, clearly. Just keep that in mind. So if chemically smells are really offensive to you, you probably are gonna love this. Alrighty, I'm going to do this side of my face with the brush. I'm going in with a BH Cosmetics foundation brush, the number 3. I'm just gonna kind of get my brush ready by buffing all that foundation into it. And my skin is already, well, I shouldn't say primed because I do not really use primer, but I always moisturize before I apply foundation. So it is thoroughly moisturized. I just use my Cetaphil hydrating hyaluronic acid moisturizer. Just plop it on with my fingers first, and then blend it. My nose is extra red it's like so incredibly sensitive, but at the end of the day when I put my moisturizer on it, like it burns from how often I blow my nose because of my allergies. So in my mirror, I can totally see a difference between the brush side and the sponge side. I think the sponge side looks a lot more natural. There's less texture. It looks more dewy. The brush side looks a lot more matte, and I can see a lot more texture around my mouth. Unfortunately, I don't have like the highest quality camera ever, so you're probably not going to be able to see that much. I'm going to get a little closer. Oh, there's so much shadow. Like right here. It's pretty textured. Since I'm going to wear it for the rest of the day, I think I'm going to dab over it with my sponge now that I know that I prefer this application. It looks a little bit fuller over here, but I don't really like that. I like the way my natural skin is showing through on that side. So I'm going to go over that with my sponge. Okay, there we be. This is my second time applying this foundation, so this isn't a total first reaction. I actually wore this when I did a look a couple days ago. I'll insert a photo here. And I liked it that time. I like it now. I think it's got a nice luminosity to it. It looks pretty, it just looks like real skin, at least in my view. I haven't tried like a ton of foundation, so it's a little hard for me to compare it. It's not like I've used like a Huda Beauty full coverage matte foundation. But for $5 for a dewy foundation, I really like this. For someone who wants to like shine, I don't think this is going to give you like super shininess. In fact, I would say this is more of like a satin finish. More so than dewy, which is fine. I really, really like satin finishes. I just like things to feel like natural skin. So far so good. I will be back later and I will give you my impression about how it wears and what I think about it in about 8 hours or so. All right, I am about to take my foundation off. I'm about to take all of my makeup off, but this is how it looks after about 7.5, 8 hours of wear. I put it on at 4. It is 11:30 right now. So I think it wore pretty well throughout the day. I think I put on way more than I usually would. Going in with the brush and like slapping it on before I blended it out with my sponge was not like my typical application. So I feel like it has a lot more texture than it normally would had I applied less product, which is what I typically do. Since I have worn this foundation once before and I wore a lighter layer of it, I did like it more that time. So today it looked a little bit more texturized and kind of cakey. The one issue I had is that it really creased around my forehead wrinkles. I have 3 deep forehead wrinkles from all the acne scarring I had in my past. It just made those lines a little bit deeper, and so the foundation accentuated those, but I doubt it would be as much of a problem if I did use a lighter hand and I put less foundation on. But if you're wanting a really full coverage foundation that you're going to have to build up, then this might not be the one, because when you build it up, it does show more texture and it shows lines. But when you apply a thin layer of it, I think it looks really nice. I didn't feel it on my face at all throughout the day. I didn't feel like a mask. I didn't feel uncomfortable. The one thing I don't like really is the smell. And the applicators is a little iffy. But the good thing about having a spatula on the inside is you get to use all your product. And it's already inexpensive, so you really just get the best deal for your money. But that's where we're at. I will definitely continue to use this and update you in a future video. I enjoy the way it looks and feels, but it might not be for everybody. But for someone who likes more dewy satin finishes and wants their skin to feel like skin and look like not very full coverage, it worked for me. And so I enjoyed it. I hope it's helpful for you if you're deciding whether or not you want to buy this product. That's it. So have a wonderful day, night, wherever you are, and I will see you soon. My allergies are bonkers, so I sniffle every 2 seconds and do that, which is nasty. We're not going to talk about that night. Talk about that night? We're not going to talk about that night. Let's try that again. Excuse me.